The cover painting. I like it here, the old one. It's the old cover moving, I don't know where.
So how long have you been coming to Vecova?
A long time. I just thought about it. Well, I was born in 67. These guys were opening their doors in 67. Yep. 2 years. It's like me and you guys like 2 years apart.
Really? So you've been here that long with Vecova?
Since I was 18, yeah.
I get a little sentimental and a little emotional, but I grew up here, right? So this is kind of like, it's kind of come full circle to think that I ended up here. I don't think there's any better words to just say thank you. Yeah.
So Kristen Meikle is our founder, and she had a son who had a developmental disability. And that's what motivated her to go down the path to look for a different future for him. At the time, it was thought that people with developmental disabilities couldn't learn, couldn't be taught, should be hidden away, institutionalized. She didn't believe that, and she thought there could be something better for her son. She sought to make that a reality, and she did. It started at small, at her kitchen table, with some acquaintances that were in a similar situation as her and brought their children together to start learning at her kitchen table. It was the kitchen school. From that, it evolved into building this facility, which at the time was a cutting-edge facility, focused on doing research, delivering innovative programs, and helping to support people who face barriers to gain skills and be productive parts of the community, not hidden away. It's just evolved from there, and it's really, really amazing what she did. That passion that she had, I see that in all the staff that work here. The spirit of Vecova is what is going to live on, no matter where we're housed, because that is about the people, not about the place.
Christine Meikle was an exceptional individual. I think I only met her maybe twice. Well, obviously she was instrumental in making so many things happen in this field through the educational system, getting some education programs going and getting it going with the school board and getting a school created to serve people with disabilities and help them access good educational programming as well. She was instrumental in making that happen. And then I think she saw over time the need, people move out of school. You reach adulthood, and there's other needs that need to be met. You need to be part of the community in a different way, hopefully through work and through living situations, and which promoted the impetus, I guess, for Vecova to suddenly be formed.
She's a legendary founder of the organization, and she worked with other individuals to make this work, to make it happen. It was certainly a very leading process to, kind of groundbreaking, not just literally but figuratively, in terms of having an organization that was designed to meet the needs through best practice and based on literature around providing services, right? So having something that was an organization that was in the research park at that time was pretty innovative.
When you look at the number of long-term employees Vecova has, it's pretty amazing. It was the VRI when I came to work here, and eventually that changed to Vecova. And I think it was a good change once people understood what Vecova itself stands for. and that it better reflected what we do in terms of services, because they evolve over time.
Yeah, so when I started here in 2006, we were known as the VRRI. At that time, I think we were quite leading edge in terms of sort of leading that academically, kind of in terms of being a resource to the disability community and the whole sector. We've seen a lot of changes over the last 19 years that I've been here. In terms of the programming we've offered, we've grown a great deal, obviously, since 2006. We've seen a lot of great people come, a lot of great people go. And the building is still here. It's adapted a lot over those years as well, and adapted even more, I guess, before my time in terms of the purpose.
Oh, I worked the bottles, I worked the cycling. Oh, I worked at 75 years, the whole thing.
Yeah, you did the university recycling?
Yes, the university.
Since it started?
Yes, I'm here all my life.
I worked in the P&A shop, and I worked with Jim in greenhouse, flowers. Oh, we just watered them, check them out, and
I remember several years ago we still had offices in the tower, and certainly some funny stories from there about getting stuck in the elevator was a common occurrence, and just the different temperature fluctuations in the tower, 40 degrees in there in the summer and just freezing in the winter, but it was just part of being in the tower, so that was kind of a quirky piece. I'll never forget the hailstorm in, I think it must have been about 2010 maybe, being in what we now call the atrium, and at the time we called the greenhouse, and being in there supporting individuals, and this hailstorm kicked in, and the roof fell apart on the greenhouse, and so we were scrambling to get everybody out, and then it was hailing in the greenhouse essentially.
I found it really creepy. I honestly thought it was haunted. It gave off a very haunted vibe.
What? How come?
It just, every time we were up there with other people, we could hear something and there would be no one in that room. So it was creepy.
So do you used to live in the tower?
Yep.
Do you have any stories, or what do you remember about the tower?
Mike Templehair was a mower. Mike was a good guy. We went to Mike's funeral.
During COVID, I thought it was kind of strange, but I had a person from Pear Productions come and meet with me and say, there's this new Netflix series coming out and we would love to film it here. And I'm like, okay, well, what's it called? And they said, it's Last of Us, it's going to be the next biggest thing. And I'm like, really? Okay. And Pedro Pascal's in it, and I'm like, okay, well, who's he? So that was pretty interesting. And so we worked for the next few months on trying to figure out the logistics of actually having a movie here on site. One, because we were still in the midst of COVID, and two, just with the reality of trying to close down different areas for this movie.
My youngest one did go to day camps here for sure. We did have floor hockey at noon. I remember floor hockey at noon. And then a couple of my best friends right now are coworkers that I've met over the years. I think it's needed and it's understandable. There were renovations that need to be done that were millions and millions of dollars. So it does make me sad for the pool. A small, warm, wheelchair accessible pool that is quiet and safe for people that have certain needs. That's really sad to end for the people who use that pool. And the bottle depot, I've supported people at the bottle depot for years, And I know they have some employees that have worked there for a long, long time, and it is part of their identity and a huge part of their life. So their positions ending, yeah, that's really sad.
So we're always looking at ways to do things differently or better, and to evolve as the community evolves, as the individual's needs evolve, as our political environment evolves. We always have to be able to adapt and change, and I think that's been the strength of the organization. We've been here through lots of change and turmoil over the years, and we've always come out stronger.
Housing services is a good example of work that's not necessarily done within this building. It's in the community. We have 11 different environments that we staff. We provide to our consumers, and we provide the staffing around the clock to ensure that those individuals can reside in their homes and they can be comfortable, they can be safe in their homes, and they can truly identify them as their homes. It takes a lot of people to run those environments. We have almost 300 staff in housing services.
We started to deliver community-based residential services before we closed down the tower. But it was, we started in the 70s, and then the tower closed down early 80s. And the intent was to really go back to what is the real, where do you and I and everyone live? We live in the community and not in a facility. And so very quickly the philosophy changed around the needs of individuals to or the wishes of the individuals to be within their own environment, in their own community environment, and to have a home similar to everyone else.
Well, hopefully that Vecova can continue to be a leader in disability services, and that it will continue to grow. It feels almost like it might be shrinking at the moment. Maybe that's just in my mind, because it's such a big building, it's kind of a sprawling type of building, lots of space. So it feels like we might initially shrink physically, but I hope that Vecova continues to grow, however that might look, and expand in different ways in the future.
Change happens no matter what, as all of us will experience change in our lives, whether it be aging, change in our life circumstances, like whether you retire from a job or move to a different job, or have people in your life that have moved on, and so we have change, right? And so this is part of an organization also goes through change, very similar to what we go through. And the time for this building has come to an end, but that doesn't mean that there isn't, that Vecova won't thrive. Vecova has the opportunity to continue to grow and thrive, and it will. And the reason for that is that Vecova has been agile and continues to be agile and adapts as necessary. And so Vecova is like a living organism, really, because it's made up of all the great people that have worked here in the past and continue to work with the organization and continue to meet the needs of the community and individuals.
If we extend ourselves into the community more, we create that opportunity for them to connect with us, for us to meet new people, for us to be able to supply services or programs that help support people where they're at. And I think that's a really important thing for us to do, and helps to overcome the transportation issue, as well as opening ourselves up to a broader community as well. We've stretched you beyond your intended lifespan. You've been a home and a safe haven. We are deeply, deeply grateful for that. It's time to let you go now. Your bones are old and and tired and need rest. We need some fresh starts. We're gonna miss you.
I don't really have any apart from hearing about the ghost or the ghosts. You've heard about that. I've never seen them, but I've heard people talk about seeing them. Maybe I've just avoided going to those areas like the basement and the tower where the ghost might be. But I thought of declaring myself as the ghost on this video, revealing myself as the ghost. But